Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Opposition raises concern about poor garbage collection across Jamaica. Substrain of Omicron BA2 now a variant of concern. And later in sports, JFF General Secretary to consult CONCACAF over Costa Rican COVID positive players. Hello, I'm Krista Campbell and here are the details. Opposition spokesperson on local government, Denise Daly, is making yet another appeal for the government to put proper measures in place to address garbage collection across the country. Sandy Williams has more in this report.
Ms. Daly blames untimely garbage collection for the pileup of debris in several communities. She says the service seems to have fallen off terribly in some areas than others, and the situation is about to reach crisis level.
If you do not put measures in place that when you make arrangement to collect people's garbage in a timely manner, it is done, you are going to have all of this kind of informal arrangement where people have to dispose of it one way or the other.
She reasons that poor service may force residents and businesses to use informal methods to dispose of their garbage. Ms. Daly says the time has come for the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, to step up its pace.
We don't want an epidemic breakout where you have to be careful. We can't even go outside to even get a little fresh air. Time has come now for solid waste to really step up to the game and deliver the service that they promised the Jamaican people that they would have given us. It cannot continue. Jamaica is in a deplorable condition now as a result of lack of collection of garbage. Garbage are piled up all over Jamaica. When I heard the presentation in Parliament and the budget little before Christmas, I asked the question, will it be continued? Because I know that if you do a one shot after Christmas and you don't go back, you are going to come back with the same problem that we tried to alleviate in the Christmas season. And I was told that they would look into the matter. This has now become a big crisis where every community you have piled up of garbage. It must be collected and collected in a timely manner.
Hence this appeal.
I'm appealing to the minister. I'm appealing to the Prime Minister. We have to put measures in place. We cannot do any more one-shot cleaning and leave it again. We have to put things in a timely manner so that we will be able to get the garbage collected timely in order that we do not have these whole pile-ups all over the country.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
To a developing story now, scores of Jamaica Labour Party supporters in St. Ann Northeastern have padlocked the gates to the constituency office of Member of Parliament Marsha Smith in St. Ann's Bay. They are calling for her to be replaced. Now the residents, some bearing placards, are protesting what they say is Ms. Smith's poor performance since she was elected. Now this is a developing story and we'll have more later in Primetime News at 7. The World Health Organization says BA2, a substrain of Omicron, is now a variant of concern. The WHO says Omicron is becoming dominant worldwide, overtaking Delta in a number of countries.
In particular, we have some information in Denmark and in India where BA.2 is increasing in terms of its circulation. There is a suggestion that some of the initial data on BA.2 is that there's a slight increase in growth rate above BA.1. But beyond that, the data is really quite limited. We need people to be aware that this virus is continuing to circulate and it's continuing to evolve. And so that's why it's really important that we take measures to reduce our exposure to this virus, whatever variant is circulating.
Meanwhile, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, is urging countries to collect and report COVID-19 data, which are presently scarce. PAHO says the lack of data for vaccination coverage in terms of age, sex, and risk group is preventing countries from executing targeted vaccination campaigns. PAHO Director Dr. Carissa Etienne made the revelation at a press briefing on Wednesday.
We want to know what proportion of high-risk groups like the elderly, pregnant women, or health workers have been protected. These data are crucial to designing targeted vaccination campaigns, maximizing the impact of vaccine doses, and of course, saving lives. In countries that do report detailed data, we see worrisome gaps.
Dr. Etienne also said the region will receive more doses of COVID-19 vaccines this year.
Donations from the United States, Spain, Canada, Germany, France, and other countries total some 26 million doses. We register our thanks to all of those who have donated. PAHO's revolving fund, which so far has delivered almost 100 million doses, is on track to obtain 200 million doses on behalf of our region this year.
The opposition is again describing the move to make Portmore a parish as politically motivated. At least one opposition MP is calling for a referendum on the matter, while a government MP is insisting that it is not necessary. The matter was discussed on the morning agenda on Power 106. More in this report.
The move to make Portmore a parish is not sitting well with the opposition. St. Catherine's Southern Member of Parliament Fitz Jackson says granting the Sunshine City parish status is politically motivated.
They want to put what they call their own stamp on Portmore, right? And therefore a parish designation, they can say they did it, which is a bit childish in my mind and kind of underdeveloped approach to governance.
Mr. Jackson says there is need for a referendum before any further step is taken to make Portmore a parish.
We want consultation, meaningful consultation, not just a vote for vote's sake, but have the consultation so the views, the aspirations of the people can be brought into the mix and help to inform the decisions that are made. That's what we're asking for. Preserve the authenticity of the evolution of Portmore by having the people at the center.
St. Catherine East Central Member of Parliament Orlando Terrelong has fired back at claims made by the opposition about the need for a referendum. He argued that there was widespread consultation among the residents of Portmore. Mr. Terrelong further argued that the push for a referendum at this time is unnecessary.
It is unfortunate that now that the matter has passed the vote in the lower house of Parliament, that persons are now saying in a very disingenuous manner that, oh, there was no consultation or there was no wide-scale consultation, when there was.
Mr. Terrelong is also rejecting claims that the push to name Portmore Jamaica's 15th parish is to obtain victory at the local government elections that are slated for next year.
The Minister of Local Government 2 weeks ago in Parliament, he said quite clearly, no local government elections put off till February 2023.
Portmore would become the first place to be granted parish status in Jamaica in 155 years, the last time being in 1867 when St. Thomas was named a parish, absorbing the bulk of the historic parish of St. David at the time. Sandy Williams.
And it's now time for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Farmers in Jacks River St. Mary are pleading for help following Tuesday's flooding in the parish. They say they've lost everything.
As you can see behind here, where I do my farming, plant banana, planting coconut and a lot of fruit tree, and I lose everything.
I never experienced this water yet. So what I'm asking you, sir, if you could give me a little help, where I could get some money to buy some plant and sucker and a little manure and whatsoever, you can help me out with to let me go along like, because see there, I want to make it, and me work very hard in the farm.
Now, a father is desperately seeking the public's help to save his daughter's sight. As you'll hear in this report, the young woman needs $150,000 for an eye treatment. 27-year-old Fayon Foster has had a fairly good life until last year when she received some devastating news. Fayon, who is diabetic, was diagnosed last May with kidney failure.
Gradually it's getting better, but at first I was distraught. Yeah. It was hard, very hard at first.
After finally accepting her illnesses for what they are, things took a turn for the worse. Her diabetes has started to affect her eyes, and if not treated, she could soon go blind. But there's hope, as the doctors claim urgent treatment can prevent blindness. The treatment needed costs $150,000, money she does not have.
For the laser treatment, it's 100,000. The injection is for 50.
Fayan's father, Howard Foster, says his savings have been depleted from footing the bill for her kidney treatment. He says Fayan's condition has made life financially difficult.
Basically, $32,000 a week, 2 weeks, 64,000. So by the month, we're gone over 100,000 for the month, and very hard. Because, we have like bills to pay and all of those stuff. So, yeah, that is the most challenging part, to see that sometimes she needs to go do the dialysis and she can't make it because of the money that, we don't have. So that is the most challenging part.
Her father is desperately appealing to the public for assistance.
I really need the help, really need the help from my daughter, because from where we're at now, we just want her to be more comfortable, and things not looking that good right now because of money, because of the cash money. So really want the help. Just ask public if them can support me in any way. Please, I'm asking for the help.
Anyone who wants the help can contact Howard Foster at 876-218-4059, 876-878-6031, or 876-889-5120. The community of Berlin in St. Elizabeth has been plunged into mourning following the death of a construction teacher at the B.B. Koch High School. 59-year-old Garfield Dennis was found dead in what's believed to be a case of suicide. His body was discovered sometime after 5 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. He was last seen at the school compound on Tuesday. The police have launched an investigation. It's now time for the Business Minute with Cody and Barrett.
Indies Pharma Jamaica will be releasing 2 new drugs through an agreement with KP Pharmaceutical Technology Inc. In the current financial year, the company recorded $318 million as intangible assets up to October 2021. A year before, that figure stood at $115 million. The company already has a series of drugs developed along with other pharmaceuticals it distributes island-wide. The drugs will be generic and seek FDA approval for entry into the U.S. market. And in business internationally, the U.S. private sector lost hundreds of thousands of jobs in January. According to Wednesday's Automatic Data Processing ADP employment report, the loss of 301,000 private sector positions came as a surprise to economists who had predicted businesses had added 207,000 jobs. It was also the first decline in the ADP report since December 2020. That Bureau of Labor Statistics report is due Friday morning, with economists predicting 150,000 jobs to be added. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Time now for the top regional and international stories. Sandy Williams has our report.
News in the region. In Guyana, former Education Minister Dr. Nicolette Henry on Wednesday announced her resignation from the National Assembly, paving the way for People's National Congress Reform PNCR leader Aubrey Norton to become the opposition leader. Earlier this month, Norton was elected chairman of the opposition coalition, a Partnership for National Unity APNU, and the Alliance for Change AFC. Henry has been an APNU and AFC parliamentarian since 2015. Media reports said that Norton is expected to be sworn in as a member of parliament later this week and had been meeting with selected APNU and AFC legislators since Monday in an effort to decide who would step down and allow him to become a legislator. Norton is expected to take up the vacant post of opposition leader afterward. And on the international scene, Russia has condemned a U.S. decision to send extra troops to Europe to support its allies amid continuing fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine. Moscow said it was a destructive step which heightened tension and reduced the scope for a political solution. The Pentagon said 2,000 U.S. troops would be sent from North Carolina to Poland and Germany, and a further 1,000 already in Germany would go to Romania. Russia has some 100 troops near Ukraine. It denies planning to invade. The tensions come 8 years after Russia annexed Ukraine's southern Crimea Peninsula and backed a bloody rebellion in the eastern Donbas region. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
Now we head to a quick break. When we come back, Simon Preston will have your midday sports report. Please stay tuned.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. General Secretary of the Jamaica Football Federation, Dalton Wind, says the federation will be consulting with the regional governing body, CONCACAF, on the next step of action after Costa Rica fielded 2 COVID-19 positive players against Jamaica on Wednesday. GFF Medical Committee Chairman Dr. Guyan Arscott confirmed that 6 members of the Costa Rican delegation were positive on arrival to the island and that 2 of those 6 played against Jamaica. Costa Rica won the game 1-0 thanks to a Joel Campbell strike in the 62nd minute.
We heard about it during the game. The next move is for us to have a discussion with CONCACAF and I'll allow them to rule on it.
Meanwhile, Reggae Boys midfielder Ravel Morrison took to Twitter on the matter and said, "That's worse than playing a suspended player. The game should be replayed or forfeited. I'm sure if it was 2 players from Jamaica, we would be under a lot of pressure. Just my opinion." Meanwhile, Reggae Boys captain Andre Blake fields with new faces in the squad every international window. Jamaica never had a chance to develop chemistry and cohesion needed to thrive in the qualifiers. The Reggae Boys have only won 1 out of 11 games so far and have only scored 9 goals in those 11 fixtures.
I'm going to say one thing, it's very important. They're playing against teams that have been building for 5-6 years. You know, and we are very new. You know, and you know, things like these happen. You don't just build a team in 1 week or in 1 month or even in 1 year. You need time, a lot of time, and for us now, if we want to even have a chance for the next campaign, it starts now. And you need to play together, you need to spend time together, and you need to suffer together.
In the March window, the Reggae Boys will end the octagon with games against El Salvador, Canada and Honduras. Across the Atlantic we go now as Reggae Girls striker Khadija Bunny Shaw and Manchester City will face Reggae Girls goalkeeper Rebecca Spencer and Tottenham Hotspur in the semi-finals of the English League Cup this afternoon. Kick-off is at 2 o'clock Jamaica time. The winner will face Drew Spence and Chelsea in the final on March 5. Chelsea are the defending champions of the competition. And finally this afternoon, South Africa women posted 299 for 8 off their 50 overs against West Indies women in the 3rd one-day international in Johannesburg today. Laura Wolvart top scored with 117 for the home side, while Shamilia Connell took 4 for 54 for the Windies. At sports time, the Caribbean side had reached 46 for 2 after 12 overs. The West Indies leads the 4-match series 1-0. And that is it for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Simon Preston. Krista, it's over to you.
Thanks, Simon. And that's the Midday News. I'm Krista Campbell. Join us again at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, have a good afternoon.